Hey townies, I'm Philip, and you're watching the Mountain City Show. Today's segment, well, if you live in a big city, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with violence, gangs, traffic, congestion, extremely expensive housing, like real world city stuff. Well, life in a small town, we got struggles too. So stick around, hit like and subscribe, and let's dive in. Small town life can be hard, really hard. So, let me read you an article of what was happening in the city council. All right. So, back in 2016, a town one over from us voted to amend the city zoning laws regulating domestic livestock, allowing households to keep up to 6 live chickens. Right? So a number of the residents here in my town, so this is one town over, right? One town over. It's like 10 miles away and it's spread out. And it's barely the population that my town has, right? So they want to allow up to 5 chickens. So on January 23rd, we had residents go to the city council meeting asking for, the city to allow chickens to be permitted within the city limits. Okay, so we got people wanting chickens in the city limits, right? So in the city limits, there's probably around 15,000 people that live there. Or live here. You can see it is right behind me. That's the town that I live in. See all the houses? All right. So for you people who don't know nothing about chickens, which, I know a little bit about chickens, only because I grew up here in the country, but the funny thing about chickens is chickens need a rooster. Because if you don't give them a rooster, here's what happens to the hens. One of the hens will turn into kind of like a rooster, right? It's not really a rooster because it's still a hen, right? But it'll start being like a rooster, which will terrorize all the other hens and they'll all fight and, they won't lay eggs. So you got to have a rooster to keep order. And the roosters, well, they keep the predators out, like your local house cats, your dogs, your hawks, your foxes, anything that's going to come and kill and eat the chicken. All right. So we live in a small town. They're going to eat chickens. That's just the way it is. Right. So 15,000 people. So in the town. So if you only take 1%, 1% of 15,000, that's 150 people. So that's 150 households having chickens. So that means they all have chickens. But then they all have a rooster, one rooster. You can't have 2 roosters because they fight, right? Hence the cockfights, where they put the razor blades on them. Anyway, so everybody's got a rooster. So if you know anything about roosters, roosters freaking crow. And I mean loud, right? It's not just in the morning, not at 5:30. And they don't know what time the sun comes up. That is a myth because they will start freaking crowing at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. Right? And then they crow all day long. All day long. All day long. They'll crow. In the afternoon, in the evening, all day long. Right? So it doesn't matter. Right? And then here we go. We got 150 roosters in this town. You will literally hear the freaking roosters crowing in DC from here. You cannot have 150 roosters all in the same town. Do you understand this, people? You have to say no to the crow. No to the crow, because roosters crow. That they crow. We cannot have roosters in this town. It cannot happen. Not 150 of them. That's only if 1% of the people want chickens. And I get chickens went up like 5,000%, or not chickens, eggs. Eggs went up 5,000%. I get that. But that doesn't mean you have to have chickens, right? No. Just say no to the chickens. No to the chickens. Because I would like to sleep. Right? I would like to be able to lay down and go to sleep. Because if one of them freaking roosters starts crowing, then they all start fucking crowing and nobody in the whole damn town's going to be able to sleep. Right? So these are the real freaking life stories of living in a small town. It's all about chickens. Chickens and roosters. With chickens comes roosters. All right? That's my little rant. So that's the only news we have happening where I live. So it's all about the roosters and the chickens. So if you could, freaking say no to the crow. Say no to the crow. Now, we got more on small towns. So for those of you that don't know, They have a ton of memes about small towns. So let's take a look at a few because they make me laugh. Because some of them are very true. All right, here's one. Thursday at 3:20 p.m., a resident who needed help opening a jar called police for assistance. Police jar open. Opened the jar for the caller. Yeah, I could see that happening. This I've definitely heard happening before in my town. I live in a small town. Someone called my mom and told her they saw me trying to buy alcohol at the grocery store. I'm 41. That's so true. It's so true. You can tell who's driving by your house by the sound of their truck. That is very true. This is true too. Number 5. Your teachers either taught your parents or are your parents. That's true. And we don't like the kitten one. That was number 7. Number 7. Things people do in small towns. Drive around. Eat at the same restaurants. Drive around more. Go to town that is slightly bigger. Make a bonfire. Call a friend to see if they want to drive around. All right, this is true. If you're under 21, that's what you do. Most people I know who live in small towns, this is true on how we give directions. Where are you from? And then you describe the general area in your town is in, referencing the nearest city that they might have heard of, even if it's 4 hours away. Yeah, I have done that. People say they're from a small town with 10,000 people. You're like, that's a city, fool. And actually, no, it's not, because when you Google it, anything 50,000 people or over is a city. Anything under is a town. Although if they go by the standards that were done back in the early 1900s, it's anything over, I think it's 2,500 people. But in today's times, it's anything over 50,000. Number 11, at the store, see someone you know. Out for dinner, see someone you know. Go walking in the woods in the middle of nowhere. See someone you know. This is true. This is going to bring me into the next story about the town I live in, which is kind of funny. And I think you might get a kick out of it because this is true too. This just happened. They're getting ready to do all this. So what the city that I live in, well, the town, whatever you want to call it, is going to do is downtown. We have a downtown area. It's really nice, actually. I mean, everything was built a long time ago, so it's really pretty. There's some shops and some restaurants and stuff down there, and it's actually really nice. However, they got a grant for $50,000 for crime prevention to put in surveillance cameras. Now, I mean, I'm not real smart, but I don't remember the last time somebody got mugged downtown or pretty much anywhere. Got their car stolen, got carjacked, got shot, got stabbed. Like, none of that happens. None of it. None of it. So we just got a $50,000 grant to put in $100,000. Well, it's actually $100,000 grant. So it's a total of $100,000 to put in all these security police cameras, right? And you're already going to run into everybody at Walmart, the gas station, the local restaurants. Like, you're going to see all these people anyway. So the only thing I can think of is they just haven't seen enough of us people yet. They really want to see what we're doing and who's out. Because one thing you'll learn about small towns is people are really nosy. And I mean super nosy. Super nosy. So I think they just want the cameras to see what's happening. So they feel like they're not stuck in their office and, doing nothing. They can just check on people and be like, ooh, there goes Mr. Jones. Wonder what store he's going in, right? Because it's not like there's a crime problem. There is no crime problem here. None. Zero. Like, no crime. None. Zero. So, those are what you have to deal with in a small town. Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll move to one too. Thanks for watching the Mountain City Show. If you could, hit that like and subscribe button. My name's Philip, and join us again up here on the mountain.